But one of the I wouldn't say it's a conspiracy, but I guess orthodoxies that exist today that seems to be unassailable is the idea that any difference that we see has got to be attributed to systematic racism, and almost no other cause is considered. It's, if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? It's something that seems to be something that's going on right now. So how do we, try to use reason to argue against something like that? Because I mean, this seems to be prevailing almost in everywhere you look, whether it's discussions about students, student demographics in K to 12, especially when it comes to very prestigious schools. You start to see it also in, say, representation all across the board, females in science or things like that. How do we use reason to push back on this, or if it's possible?
Yeah, so we have to know what the base rate is. What's the comparison? Sometimes I call this the Jack Benny effect. Jack Benny was a comedian in the 1950s who famously said when somebody asked him, "How's your wife?" he said, "Compared to what?" If you tell me, oh, there was 3 police shootings this week, isn't that bad? It's like, I don't know. Compared to what? How many was there last week or last month? Or there's only 10% female Google programmers at Google. Isn't that terrible? I don't know. What compared to what? How many are applying? 10% of applicants are female and they have 10% of female programmers. I'm just making those numbers up, but that would be, you need a base rate to compare it to. And most of these group differences you find are of that nature, that there's some other reason besides obviously misogyny or racism or bigotry in general. That's probably the cause, just vocational interest of what people gravitate to for careers that they want to pursue. Or maybe there's a pipeline difference, so, at least in the worlds of science that I travel in, pretty much every academic scientist I know, every department I've dealt with, they are going out of their way to hire women and people of color and so on. They'll do anything to try. They want to, not because of affirmative action or what, they want to do that. They want to do the right thing and make it more fair. There just isn't as many applicants. So then you have to shift the discussion away from, well, these people are all racist or they're all misogynist, because that doesn't appear to be the case across the board. Again, you can always find some old guy that's just a jerk and he didn't get the memo. You can highlight them, but they're mostly retiring now. But so then you have to look at the pipeline. Well, why are there not more female applicants in computer programming or physics or engineering? Well, first of all, why are we focused on that end of the spectrum? Why not ask, for example, I posted this graph in my Substack column that I think it was like public administration PhDs. It's like 70-30 female. How come no one said, hey, how come there aren't 50% men as public administration PhDs? Nobody thinks twice about it. And medicine, public health, biology, all of the social sciences and humanities, there's way more women PhDs than men. And now that, after a couple of decades, that pipeline starts to fill up as they apply to get jobs. They become tenured professors. They hire more people. And then you see it more equitable, what we are thinking about equitability. But again, we're focused on just the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, as why are there not more female representatives there? Well, why aren't we flipping that and saying, well, but there are in these other areas. Could it be that women are more interested in these fields and men are more interested in these fields over here? And that appears to be the case, and there should be nothing wrong with that. I mean, you shouldn't force people to pursue some career they don't want to do, and that should be okay. But in today's conversation, it's not. And so again, you could find differences between any groups of people on almost anything. Thomas Sowell always made this point. I mean, you could take like Yankees fans and Boston Red Sox fans and go, oh, there's an income difference. There's something discriminate. No, just groups differ on everything, and it would be weird. Sowell always pointed this out. It would be weird if you found like 2 completely different groups, gender, race, whatever, that were exactly the same on everything. That was virtually impossible. And so this overemphasis on group differences is itself kind of a form of racism or bigotry. You're stereotyping. You're saying we're going to judge these individuals by the group that they're in. Okay, that's the wrong direction to go in. And this is my biggest concern about critical race theory is we're so focused on race. The whole point was, from the civil rights movement was quit talking about race. It's irrelevant. It's the least interesting thing I should know about you. But with the current climate, it's now elevated to the most interesting thing I'm supposed to know about you. And to me, that's the wrong direction.